Welcome back to the Merriment Making Podcast. I'm Mary, and today we're doing a video. So I'm excited to start doing this and making the podcast more visual as well. And today we are talking about luck, and I'm really excited right now, personally, because I just finished our first week of money tapping inside of the Positive Pulse. So as part of the membership there, which is only $5 a month now, you get to come to live events. Sometimes they're online, sometimes they're in person here in Baltimore, but all month long, every week, we are tapping and talking about making money, abundance, manifesting, my way of doing it. And I'm going to make sure that all of our podcasts this month are also about that. So we're getting double doses. And if you want to do some more somatic work and go a little bit deeper, then those weekly tappings are a great place to do that. I feel all amped up. It was really great. And I even did like a dance at the beginning. So you're missing out. Anyway, so let's talk about luck today. I don't want to just talk about the like, oh, I found a penny on the ground, and the universe loves me. That kind of luck. I want to talk about luck that you can practice, that you can participate in, that you can train. The kind that starts to show up like a kitty cat who realizes that you have treats in your pocket. Ooh, what is that? I want that. It's like coming to you. So today, this episode is called Conscious Luck, aka How to Become a Very Lucky Person, VLP, on purpose. And I know how that sounds. I know. Some people hear luck and they think that is a delusion. Some people hear luck and think, oh, cringe. This is like TikTok or spiritually nonsensical. And some people hear luck and they think, must be nice, right? So let me explain how I feel about this. I I don't want to tell you that I'm just lucky because that's not even true. I have absolutely had lucky moments, but a lot of my luck a lot of the time is believing that things are possible, making choices, paying attention, showing up, asking, asking again, trying again, being willing to be seen, be visible, be vulnerable, and then staying in that room long enough for me to see the good things and for them to come find me. So if I tell you that it's just luck, I am basically telling you that I have no control, that I have no agency, that it is just like determinism, fate completely. And I will not tell you that. I refuse to. Today, what I like to do with everything is give you a more grounded, practical, optimistic version. And I also want you to know that I have also won a suspicious amount of raffles, like a suspicious amount. If there's a bucket at a coffee shop, or I remember the first time it happened to me, I was at Battle of the Bands, which if you're old enough, you might know what that is. It was a physical thing you could go to. And I walked in and they were giving a raffle ticket away for, I think it was a t-shirt. It was a Battle of the Bands t-shirt for whatever that one was. And I got my ticket and I said, I'm gonna win this. And my friend was like, okay, like there's a million of these tickets. Like, why would you think you're winning? I'm like, I don't know. This one is the winner. And then we sat down, we hung around, and they eventually called the raffle and I won. And I went on stage and they gave me this shirt. And my friend Becca and Allie, I was in high school, they were like, how? How did you rig it? Did you know? And I was like, I mean, I did not rig it, but I did know. And I don't know how, but I just knew. And this happens a lot. It's like I'm psychologically compelled if there's a little bucket at a coffee shop and I want to drop a little ticket in or something. Something in me is like, this is my moment. This is my Olympic event. I can win this. And I have won enough times and enough things that it made me start thinking about what's actually happening in my brain when I'm saying lucky, when we're saying lucky. Because I don't think that luck is just random chance. I think luck is when you notice something, what you're noticing, where you go, how you dress, who you talk to, what you try, what you believe is possible, and then what you do because of that. There's this really great book called Conscious Luck, and it's by Gay Hendricks, and it's co-authored by Carol Klein. And it basically lays out this idea that luck can be cultivated intentionally, consciously. And it's essentially a manual for becoming luckier on purpose. And we're not pretending that reality doesn't exist in this. It's really just about widening your openness to opportunity. So today I'm going to tell you 8 ways to practice conscious luck. And I want you to pretend that this is a menu. It doesn't have to be like a transplant into your personality or anything. It's just options to play with. And before we start, let's just like lay this out. What is conscious luck? I think that it is when you treat luck as if it's a skill or a muscle that you can work on. We've talked about going to the mental gym before and like practicing new beliefs and working on ourselves. We're just doing the same thing with conscious luck. We're starting to believe and play with the idea that luck is a skill you can build. A lot of good fortune comes from a combination of things like attention and behavior and the relationships that you have and your timing, your resilience, and then sometimes definitely randomness. But randomness will favor the person who actually bought a ticket. There's that, this is just coming to me, this like, I don't know if it's a parable or whatever you want to call it, but it's like this person keeps saying, I want to win the lottery. And they keep praying every night that they want to win the lottery. And God eventually asks, or I think the person asks God, like, what do I need to do to win the lottery? And then God says, buy a ticket. And to put this in a like psychological perspective, our expectations change our behavior. This is called the Pygmalion effect. So when you believe something good is possible, you will tend to take action, more action, notice more things, and persist longer in that game. That is the self-fulfilling prophecy in plain clothes, right? That's really what it is. It's called the Pygmalion effect, but it's basically like if I believe this is going to happen, I'm more likely to do things that help with that. We're not wishing harder or making an additional vision board. It's like living as if you're someone that good things can happen to. So let's make you a really very lucky person, a VLP. Okay, the first thing is to make your commitment out loud. This is foundational. It's like a vow or a tattoo on your spirit. Maybe it's a literal tattoo, but you are declaring to yourself, to your nervous system, that we are going to do something different now. And if you want an exact line to repeat for yourself, you can play with this, but you could say, I, Mary, insert your name here, make a sincere commitment to being lucky now and forever. Forevermore. Put your name in, obviously, but keep the vibe. And we do this out loud because your brain takes spoken language more seriously than just vague internal thoughts, like a fog. And saying it out loud becomes a little bit more real. It becomes a boundary. It's a line in the sand and it is a signal. So our subconscious is definitely always listening to our thoughts, but when we say something out loud, it's more powerful. The second thing is to learn the difference between gratitude and appreciation. So I think we can use these words interchangeably. I don't think it really matters too much about the semantics, but understanding that there's maybe 2 different perspectives on this. Gratitude can be like, I'm thankful for what I have. And appreciation is demonstrating it, demonstrating that you are grateful for that thing. Like a third option could be that you're aware of what's there and then you still want more, right? Gratitude can sometimes get like weirdly moral, like you're supposed to be grateful as proof that you're a good person, you know? And I think that appreciation is more demonstrative. It's more sensory. It's more honest. And it's just like noticing, oh, you know what? That helped. I like that. That was beautiful. That mattered to me. And gratitude, we've talked about how it is a comparison, but we don't want to use a gratitude practice as an excuse to not want more. You can be grateful and still want more. And if that concept of gratitude feels loaded to you, I think it's easy to swap it out with appreciation, you know? It can change your orientation towards your own life. And it can still train your brain to notice the value. And really just also think about like, just because you're grateful for it, does anyone know? What are you doing to demonstrate that appreciation? Sometimes it's writing it in a journal or saying it out loud to yourself, or like, I don't know, think about all the ways that you wish that you were appreciated, right? And the reason that you don't feel that way is because people aren't telling you. It's not that you're not doing it. It's not that the thing isn't happening or it doesn't exist. It's that no one has written you a thank you note or said thank you, right? So, how are you reciprocating that to life, to other people, to pink trash that you see that you're like, oh, I love that? Even if you just say it out loud, you know? The next thing is radical gratitude. Okay, so in Conscious Luck, the book, one of the central practices is radical gratitude, which is basically just finding something to appreciate even when shit's hard. It's not denial, it's more like my everything sucks, now what philosophy, right? So we're thinking, okay, this is happening. Where is the learning edge for me? Where is the useful information that I can have out of this experience, this lesson? What is my third option, the unexpected door? You don't have to ever say that trauma was a gift. I'm just thinking, I just saw this like meme thing today of it looked like the guy that's made out of rocks. What is superhero is that? I can't remember, but it was like the Fantastic Four, right? Yeah. Um, and it said, the text was, even though he didn't want or ask for the trauma, it still made him stronger. So you don't ever have to be grateful for the trauma, but you get to see like what, or it doesn't have to be trauma with a capital T. It can just be adversity, something that sucks, you know? But be, you can still feel like you're allowed to look for a sparkly lining. You can say, this is horrible, and I am looking for the next thing. Radical gratitude is focus and attention and discipline. It's practical optimism, literally. We're not saying that this doesn't suck. We're saying, now what? It shifts your brain from scanning for only threats, only danger, only sucky, shitty things into looking for options, alternatives. What rock can we look underneath now? What is the answer? If this sucks and it's not moving, what are we going to do? Are you just going to lay down and be like, this sucks forever? You can lay down and take a break and experience the horribleness of it. But if we just stay there and we allow pain to win, we're not helping ourselves or anybody else. So, part of feeling good is being able to look for the options, the alternatives, and the next step. The fourth thing is to clear out blocks. This is the part that really nobody wants, but this is where a lot of luck gets stuck in like customs if it was traveling overseas and it just never makes it to your door. A block, a roadblock, we can even look at it like that, can be, I don't want to be seen. I don't want to be visible. I'm scared that I'm going to disappoint people. I'm scared that if I succeed, someone's going to judge me for wanting more and being selfish and a rich asshole. I am worried that if I have money, I'm going to lose my freedom because I'm going to have so many more responsibilities to participate in. I don't know that I can maintain that level. If I have more, then I have more to lose. If good things happen, something bad is going to follow. What goes up must come down. One of the big things that Hendricks says in the book, and he also talks about this in a second book that he has, oh, I can't even remember the name of it, but he calls this an upper limit problem, okay? And what that means is that when things start going well for us, we will self-sabotage ourselves because it feels unfamiliar. That's very human. It's very normal. But if we want to expand and we want more and we want to cultivate our own luck, then we have to be like, hmm, where am I doing that? Have you ever done that? Like a relationship's going really well, so you're like, I'm gonna pick a fight. Or your finances are going okay, and you're like, I'm gonna probably do some crazy spending now. You have it in some way, right? We all do. It might be in a different area, it might be in your health, it might be anywhere, honestly, but that's the upper limit problem. It's driving me nuts that I can't remember the name of that book. But if you want a simple way to find your block, ask yourself, what do I believe would go wrong if things started going really well for me? If everything goes right, what is the next thing that happens? And if your answer is like, nothing, only better things, bigger things create bigger things and bigger opportunities, and there is no like scarcity in my creativity or my abundance, and me getting more doesn't mean that I'm taking from others. There is a giant ocean of all of these things that's never ending, that's infinite. And when the tide rises, it lifts all ships. Then I don't even know why you're listening to this. You got it. But listen to your answer if it's not that. That is the door that you want to walk through. That's the thing you want to focus on because that is going to demonstrate to you what your specific block or blocks are. Is it that you are worried about being seen? Is it that you're worried that someone's going to take something from you? Is it that you believe intrinsically that bad shit always happens to you? It's just one thing after the next. That is where we do our transformational work. That's where we do that like shadows stuff, where we're journaling or tapping or talking or going to therapy or doing exposure, like all of those things. That's how you focus it. You figure out what's unique to you in this area, and then you try to flip it. The fifth thing is to transform shame into a magnet. This is one of the most important notes that I took away from the book on conscious luck, and it is very deeply psychological. So, shame is saying that I'm flawed, I'm fucked up, I have this thing in my head, I have this curse, bad things always happen to me, I'm always misunderstood, I'm always left out, whatever it is. Therefore, I should stay here. If I don't have any hopes or expectations, I can't be disappointed. But a VLP, a very lucky person, does something differently. They look at shame just like it's an alarm, a smoke alarm. It's really loud and it's very annoying. And if you have synesthesia like me, it gives you weird visuals that are uncomfortable. And also, every smoke alarm doesn't mean that there's a fire either, right? We can deal with it. And if there is a fire, we know now to go put it out. So we go, all right, shame. I notice this feeling that I have, this belief that I'm always getting the short end of the stick, that I'm always misunderstood, that I am always left out, that I always have something bad happening to me next, 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 next. And we say, all right, I see that. I hear that alarm. And I know that that doesn't necessarily mean that there's a fire, but I see that alarm and I accept it and I acknowledge it. And I know that you're here, this feeling, this shame, this belief, because I'm starting to stretch. I am starting to expand what I think is possible, and I wouldn't be in discomfort if I wasn't doing that. That's amazing, right? It's like flexibility, literally. You're not gonna get into a split if you don't have some like uncomfortable stretching sessions over a long period of time. You can look at shame as that smoke alarm and say, you are here because I'm doing something uncomfortable, because I'm being seen, because I'm making myself more visible and vulnerable. This shame is here because I am actually doing something that matters to me. And when we do that, we're translating that shame into movement, into action, into something else. Shame doesn't have to become like a cute thing. We're not bypassing it. We're using it as data. The sixth thing is to set luck-worthy goals. So, luck-worthy goals defined by Hendricks are goals that are genuinely important to you. They really matter. They light you up and they feel like you. Sometimes we make goals because we've been conditioned to think that's what we are supposed to do. We need to own a house instead of rent. We need to get married. We need to have kids. We need to do these things. But as a Mary coded qualifier to Hendricks' approach of luck-worthy goals, I want to add that a luck-worthy goal has a pulse, a positive pulse. It has a heartbeat, and it makes you feel more alive when you're thinking about it, when you're imagining it coming true. If your goal is just like a resume bullet point that doesn't excite you, it might be a should goal, a conditioned goal, and maybe not really a luck-worthy goal. And you're allowed to have things that you need to do or that you want to do that don't always excite you. But we also need to have fun, luck-worthy goals that light us up. So ask yourself, what do I want that would make me feel more free? What would make me feel more creative, more expressed, more useful, more like me? And those are your goals. The seventh thing is to take action. And this is where the concept stops being intangible and abstract. We move from the theory to the tangible. Samuel? My brain is like making that word strange. Sam, his last name's Goldwyn. Sam Goldwyn said that, now I'm gonna get the quote wrong because it's most of his name. Sam Goldwyn said that the harder I work, the luckier I get. And then Ray Kroc, that one I know is Kroc, he said that luck is a dividend of sweat. So here, even if we hate hustle culture, I think there's something really real underneath all of this because action makes something tangible. It makes us experience contact with something. And when we have contact in real life with something, that is what creates opportunities. And when we have opportunities and we take them, that can create outcomes. You don't have to do everything, and you actually should not. You should only do the next thing that makes sense. But it should be under this umbrella of like what your goals are. If we're just doing things because we think we're supposed to, or we're just like riding a bike that's going nowhere, and we're just going through these motions all day, it's like we're not going to get anywhere more fun or happier or luckier. I think that bold action can be really small, those micro movements. It can start by just sending an email or posting something with your art on it or telling someone the things that you're doing, what you offer, or applying for a job or asking for a promotion or pitching something or just going back one more time and showing up again, you know? Luck loves a person who keeps moving. And then the eighth thing is this metaphor that Tina Seelig uses, which is that luck is like the wind. It's always blowing, but your job is to raise the sails. So, what this means is like if you're on a sailboat, we talked about this tonight in the tapping. If you're on a sailboat and the wind comes, you might move a little bit, but if you don't have your sails up, it's not going to work as well. A sailboat is literally needing the function of both wind and sails, right? So if you are just sitting in a boat in the middle of the ocean and expecting your boat to move, but you haven't put the sails up, it's like, what are you doing? So we have to think about the sails as taking action. And I want you to look inside and be really honest with yourself about where your sails are down. A sail could just be like leaving the house, putting on a fun outfit, attending an event, being the person who introduces themselves, collaborating with someone, learning something new and taking a class, letting someone help you, smiling at someone that's a stranger, being willing to receive something, you know? And this part really matters because luck is social. It is. Many lucky breaks happen through people. through invitations and just being in the room. And when people talk about the right room, I don't know that that's real. You just have to be in rooms. You have to go outside. You have to show up to even a Zoom meeting. You have to be there. You have to build your own lucky tribe of other VLPs. You have to be around people who are trying and who give a shit. You have to be around people who are hopeful and people who are doing things and have their own lucky goals. So let's bring in one counterweight because you know I like to play devil's advocate here from Epictetus, one of my favorite Stoic philosophers that's going to keep us grounded. So Epictetus said basically that we should stop obsessing about what we can't control. We have to focus on our choices and our efforts and our character. That's where our own internal peace comes from. So to kind of calibrate that with everything else that I've said today, this goes back to really anything relating to self-love and radical responsibility, which is that you cannot control outcomes. You cannot control other people, but you can control how you are available to the outcomes and how you interpret them. Conscious luck is not like I am commanding the universe, and because I say this thing and make this vision board, the universe will co-conspire and bring it to me on a silver platter. It's you becoming the kind of person that notices things, that notices opportunities, that notices doors, and then goes through them. So let's do a little mini practice as your very lucky person self. We can think about it as like an audit. Take a breath. And I want you to ask yourself these 4 things. 1, where have I been lucky recently, even in a small way? Did you win something? Did you see a penny on the ground? Did someone buy you a drink? Did you notice a deal? Did you find something that you weren't expecting? And then the second thing goes along with number 1, which is what did you do that put you there? Were you aware? Were you looking around? Were you dressed up? Were you putting in effort? And when we start tracking those things, we start being like, okay, so it seems like when I do these kinds of things, better things happen. Maybe it's my attitude. Maybe it's leaving the house. What kind of sales have you been putting up that are helping you be in places and spaces and see opportunities and then have the ability to seize them? And then the third question is, what do I do that's shutting my luck down? Where are you pulling your sales back in? Where are you not putting up your sales? Is it that like every time you start a war with someone, you get it back 10 times over? Is it that when you have a shitty attitude, nothing seems to go well? Is it that you refuse to be social and leave the house? Is it that you only dress in sweatpants every day and blend in all the time? Is it that you believe that only bad things are going to happen to you, so then they do? And then the next and last thing to ask yourself is, what's a sale that I can raise this week? Are you going to go outside? Are you going to leave the house? Are you going to attend the meeting that you always skip? Are you going to pitch something? What are you going to do that makes sense with your goals? And if you want like a one-line thing, you could say that luck is already moving, but I get to meet it halfway. I get to put my sail up. So when the wind comes, I move. If you only take one thing from this episode, I want you to think that luck is not only something that just happens. Luck is a way that you're relating to your own life, the experiences and the opportunities and the noticing and the focus and the attention and the showing up and the participation. Luck is something you can practice. Luck is something that you can build. And you can become a VLP on purpose. And if you want to pair this with tapping, like I said, I'm doing a whole series inside of the Positive Pulse in March that lines up with money and abundance and conscious luck. So if your nervous system likes being walked gently towards those new beliefs, come hang out with me. And you get the replays too, and 280 other resources that are always being updated, like a bonus pack that comes with this episode. And it's only $5 a month. You can find that at uncustomary.org/pp. Okay, go raise one sale. And remember that you have to feel good to do good. I love you, and I'll see you next time.